This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, this is Nova with Blackline.
Hey Nova, it's Andy Carroll with SKC West.
Hi, Andy. Sorry, I'm a little bit late to the game here. I am just bringing up my screen and everything.
No problem. How's your day going?
Going good. It feels like it's Monday over and over again. Okay.
So I saw that this is being recorded, so I'll try to keep my questions down to a minimum unless I think they're going to be beneficial to the other people we're going to share this recording with.
Yes, that's fair. Okay. So I'm just gonna get my screen up here for us. So I'm just going to walk over to my desk and grab the testing device.
Okay.
Okay. So the training we're going to cover is responding training. What we're going to go over is what it looks like when an alert comes through to the Blackline system, how to acknowledge an alarm and respond, and kind of the different features of the site. So we're not going to cover all of the different kind of ins and outs of the website per se, but we will cover everything that's required when managing an alert itself. So we do have other resources if yourself or anyone needs some information on that. Alrighty, so first off, my device is going into an alarm, so I'm going to silence it. So first thing people see when they log into their page here is their maps view. So in a minute here, I'm just going to bring up kind of the main page, and I'll do just a quick rundown of the kind of information that's available there. Alrighty, so upon login on the main page, the kind of things that you would see here is the live view and history view of the device. So whoever is logged into the account can toggle in between the map and the satellite view. Now, satellite view, of course, gives us much better coverage and viewing of the device itself, of course, kind of what building it's in, where-ish the device is in regards to the building and the road, that kind of stuff. And so typically we like to use satellite view so that we can, potentially help guide emergency responders or even emergency services to the end user to verify whether or not they're okay. So this screen here, when a device is online, it's going to have a blue pin. When you hover over that pin, it will provide the information, so the organization that person belongs to, their name, their company, that kind of stuff. And when you do click on the device, you would also have the location information on the side, gas readings, all of that kind of stuff. So in the Calgary office, we just recently did some moving around, so our beacons aren't set up yet. However, the beacon information would be stored right underneath the device mode here in this info section, or it can also be located in this info box as well when you click on the device user. So it's really easy to find, and that would help pinpoint where that user is. If we had a floor plan placed over this map here, you'd be able to see it also just right away over top of the building in particular. So when you click on this person, there's going to be lots of information on the side. Now, since these devices aren't constant trackers, they do only bring up information every so often. However, when they go into an alarm, it will immediately pull a brand new location for the device user and the responding team, so that we have, of course, the freshest location possible in case there is some kind of emergency response that's required. So on the side here, we've got our last location information. If the client has gas detection, the gas readings would be here as well, and then some other information. So the last communication, the battery signal strength, all of that stuff on the side here. So what I'll do now is I'm going to trigger an alert with the device. To do that, I'm just going to pull the latch. When I pull the latch here, the device is going to go into a red pin, and we're going to get the device to go into an alarm. Now, first thing I want to do here is make sure that my device is in a testing configuration and testing mode. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that and make sure that that comes through. Now, one thing I will note for everyone's sake here, this account is monitored by Blackline Safety. So when they do give me a call, just disregard that response. So what I just did, you can kind of hear it, I'm muting it right now, but I just pulled the latch on my device. I'm just generating an alarm. Now, when an alarm comes through to the system, the first thing you're going to see is the pin is going to go red. So you can see there that it went from that blue normal operation to the red pin. Now, this device is monitored by Blackline, so they're going to give me a call pretty soon here. I'm just going to let them know that I am testing. I'll probably just mute myself when that comes through. But you can see here that the device just updated a new location, so it just moved from one side of the building to another. Typically, when a device is indoors, the GPS location can get a bit muffled. So with the use of beacons, the location would then be more precise. So you can see here that now my device is attached to a beacon. So I guess they did have one installed in the meeting room that I'm currently in. So you can see that it says Churchill Falls meeting room, or Churchill Falls, and the beacon ID there. So, oh, 1 second here.
Are you okay?
Yep, I'm fine. It's Nova, and I'm just testing this device.
Okay, thank you, Nova. I'll read some to you. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Nope, all good. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Okay, sorry about that. So what will happen here is that agent's going to respond and resolve this alert, but what we'll do is we'll jump over to the alert management page. Now, when an alert comes through to the system, as you all saw, the alert comes up on the top left-hand side. If you have the tab unmuted as well, you're going to have a foghorn sound that's going to kind of bring your attention to the browser. So once it comes up on the side here, what can happen is you click on that alarm, and it's going to bring you to what we call the alert management page. So the alert management page is the page for all things when it comes to alerts, being able to text the user, being able to call the user and resolve the alert, put your notes and all that stuff in there. And it's really valuable for responders because this is where it all happens, basically. So alert management page can also be accessed on the menu under resources as well. However, the quickest way to get to it is just by clicking on the actual alert that is in place. So that
question. Can I pop in real quick? When I did my training this morning with them, They had a good question about this page, and apparently they have really slow internet connection. So when they get to the alert management page, it takes them minutes to scroll down to where they can find the device pin and phone number to call the device.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of makes sense if that little square was in the first thing that's going to pop up where it says Kayla company Blackline. If it showed that device phone number and pin up there, is that a possibility that could happen?
No, unfortunately not. It's typically, especially if we have a team who's responding to an alarm. To be frank, that it's best to get is the best kind of internet that you can, because responding to an emergency event is shouldn't take too long, right? So if they're having trouble scrolling down to, it literally takes me one scroll to get to this section. I think that taking a look at the internet would probably be the best course of action first, versus making an entire change to the web browser and the site.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah. So with that, the text messaging feature is here. The call to the device is here as well. And if there is any trouble with the loading of the page, totally understandable. But you can see, their information here as well. So if there happens to be something going on with the internet or anything like that, this is something that would probably load up first. So at least they have that info. Additionally, this might be a good option for them too, is we can set them up with email notifications, and that would send all of the information in kind of email format. So potentially, they'll be able to load up the email quicker than the actual web page as well. So we can offline look at that possibility too. Now, on this page, we have the name of the user that it's assigned to, device ID, the status, so it's online currently, what kind of mode it's in, any phone numbers, if any, that are attached to that contact. And then on the right-hand side, you see that same maps view. One thing that's really valuable to a lot of our clients is that we're actually able to see who a nearby user is just by kind of looking on the screen here. So you're able to see if anyone is close by within proximity to that person that might be able to help out with that situation if it is a true emergency. You can see that this other user, the other Kayla device, is currently offline. It's got that gray pin there, so it wouldn't necessarily be able to contact that person. But you can just see, for example, that you can see those nearby users. Again, all the information I showed you previously on the other page is available here, including the beacon and all of that information just on the side. Now, when it comes to actually responding to an event, there's a few things that are important in this piece. You can see here that we have the protocol tab, contacts, and notified contacts tab. The protocol tab shows us exactly step by step as a responder how we're supposed to respond to an alert. So we do ask that our clients kind of establish some type of protocol. We do have templates available as well that our monitoring center uses that I'm happy to share. And but every client self-monitored typically has their own way of doing things. But it's nice to have that kind of listed in this section here, so that anyone who's responding to an alert can just read the steps step by step and know exactly what they need to do. So if we take a look at this protocol, for example, you can see the step one is to call the device. So in order to call this device, I'm just going to refresh my page here. There is a box that just disappeared on me. Sorry about that. There's a box here where it's going to have that PIN and the phone number in order to call the device. Now, that will come through on the email as well. The phone number used is a 1855 number. Our clients are welcome to save this phone number. And then the PIN, every time an alert is triggered, it's going to be a unique PIN that pops up. So I'd encourage anyone who's testing or training to kind of pull the latch on the device and hear what it sounds like to connect the call to the device. It only takes less than a minute to connect the call, and then that person, once the PIN has been entered, would be able to talk freely back and forth with the end user, given that of course she has or he has adequate signal strength on their device. So calling the device, the PIN and the phone number would be provided, and then additionally, you're also able to send a message to the device as well. So when you're texting the device, you do have a limit of 32 characters. I'm just going to generate another alarm here so that I can show you. But you can see it says this device supports messaging, and then you can see it says has 32 characters remaining. So what I'm just going to do, for example, I could just type in here saying testing, or I could type, are you okay? It could be a number of things, but really that's just our way of, again, having another option in order to get a hold of that end user, essentially. Now, on this page as well, we'll also note that there is a notes section. So really our clients, it's up to them how they want to utilize this page. Our Safety Operations Center, our monitoring center, does offer, we basically put notes in for every single step that we take in the protocol. So for example, if I went through step 1, called the device, no reply on the other end, something of the sort, and then I would write proceeded to step 2, right? So you're just kind of marking down all of the steps in the protocol. That way that we can look back on this alert in the future and see what kind of response was taken, how far into the protocol we did get step by step, and whether or not, ultimately that device user was okay, if it was a false alert or a real alert, just gives us some insight to what happened. With this here, you can see that we do have a step that says contact emergency contacts in order of priority. So say we're working with an individual who has an alarm, we can't get in touch with them. However, we do have a list of emergency contacts that might be able to help us out, might be able to know what's going on with that user, if they've seen them lately, something like that. So for example, here we've got Andrea Lamont. I'd be able to give her a ring and say, so-and-so has an SOS alert. Can you please check up on that person and, make sure that they're okay, right? So again, this is something that can be set up through the website itself. It's not a necessity, of course. However, it does, help us find more people to investigate into an incident, if need be. Lastly here, again, following through this protocol, we do have optional steps to dispatch. So again, I can't speak to everyone's internal policy for this kind of stuff, but generally speaking, if we do get on the line with someone and they confirm that they are in an emergency situation, what we would do is want to make sure that we dispatch as soon as possible, right? So if someone confirms that they do require assistance, their approximate address, Latin long, will be provided, and as well, you do have the map here to help guide emergency services on the phone. So that would be kind of an internal communication, how are you going to dispatch, what phone number are you going to call, that kind of stuff. So last thing when it comes to managing an alert would be resolving the event. So with that, what happens is when an alert comes through, you're going to be given different options to resolve. So that would include false alert with dispatch, false alert without dispatch, and that's going to be in this section right here where it says alert resolved. That section would you'd be able to pop it open and choose which option you wanted to, and then resolving the alert. If you're a responder, it's going to force you to pick a reason for resolving and then confirm that by clicking resolve. And that's when that alert would be completely closed off. So the alert will not leave the section, and the pin will not go back to that normal blue color until the alert has been resolved by a responder, basically. So trying to make sure that, you know, get your notes in there, get in touch with that end user, and then finally, you know, finish it off by resolving that alert, of course, as well. So when alerts are resolved, they go into what we call alert history, and the alert history just shows us basically a full pocket of an event that had occurred. So I'll just open one up just as an example. And we'll use the one that I had triggered previously, and you'll see the notes from our Safety Operations Center here as well. So when an alert is triggered, this one was resolved as demo training. We can see who was associated with the alert, what kind of an event it was, when it was resolved, when it was acknowledged by one of our team members. Of course, we don't want alerts sitting in the portal website for very long at all. Our monitoring center, for example, we strive to acknowledge alerts 99% of the time within under 60 seconds. So of course, again, that's something that our clients who monitor their own alerts would have to kind of set a general standard as to how quickly they want their teams to acknowledge events and start responding to them. But here it shows where the event happened, and then you can also see all of the different timestamps in between. So what time it was triggered, when it was received, when it was acknowledged. One of the agents here, they immediately put their code, so their agent number. So agent 404 started working on the alert. You can even download the call recording that was done when the agent called the device, and that's always available. And then the notes here. So this is a great example of kind of a perfect note. There's a timestamp, and then it says, called the device and spoke with Nova. She confirmed she is okay, resolve alert. Point. And then you can see just seconds later that agent went ahead and resolved that alert. So it kind of gives that round circle of events. And if that agent had to take that event any further, she would have, she or he, I'm not too sure, would have gone ahead and put the notes coordinating with how, excuse me, how far they got down that protocol. So with that, that's pretty much it when it comes to responding to an alert. Big thing, a few things to note is making sure that you do not have the site tab muted, that you've got the volume up on your computer as well, so you can hear the events coming through from the screen, and it kind of brings your attention to this web page. Always make sure that the page is, of course, logged in as well, and that way you'll be able to hear when an alert comes through, and you'll be able to, you know, get the response started as soon as possible as well. So, yeah, Andy, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. That was great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Feel free to give me a call as well, and I'll save off the recording. I think I can chop off all of our chit chat in between as well.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Take care.
You too. Thanks, Nova. Goodbye.
Bye.